Thanks for staying with us. So, drug and substance abuse in Nigeria have become a threat to public health, national stability, peace, and security that needs more than urgent attention. 26th of June happens to be World Drug Day. So, in commemorating that day, we have with us a pharmacist, Clara Anyanwu, who is an Assistant Director, Drug Demand Reduction Division, DDRD, NCS, NAFDAC. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Good morning. It's good to see. I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
Yes.
I hope you're enjoying the wet weather.
Yes, we are. It's nice and cool. Right, so drug abuse, especially in this COVID season, everybody's chewing everything you hear on radio and TV. 1 second is magnesium, the next second is vitamin C, the second then all sorts of things. We just go off the shelf and get whatever it is we can. As we're commemorating that day, what's that message you'd like to share with us today, especially on how we choose the drugs we use off the counter?
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here once again. Now, Drug Abuse Day, World Drug Day, dates back to the 7th of December, 1987. And the whole idea is to rid the society of unnecessary use of drug abuse. Now, with this situation of COVID-19, of course, people are depressed, angry, all sorts of reactions because of the situation. And drugs tends to be the way to go. My advice to everybody is to understand that, first of all, a drug is a poison. It is a poison, and it is how you use it that makes it useful to you. And then we need to understand that there's a difference between a drug and a medicine. Now, a drug is pharmacologically is defined as anything you take in that changes your physiological response, your biological response generally. Whereas a pharmaceutical drug is intended to treat, prevent, and diagnose diseases. So everything we do, it's our response to how we take these drugs. That is a problem. Now, if you take a drug and you begin to enjoy what these drugs do to you, and then you begin to take it for your selfish reason, not because of what the prescription or the drug, the package actually says it's meant to be used for, but rather you're using it to get away from the situation. Like, let's give an example, this COVID situation, you're depressed. You are angry about what is going on. And then you find that when you take a particular medicine, because prescription drug could also be abused. Right. It depends when you're not taking something the way it ought to be taken, right, but rather for your selfish reason, the way the effects you are getting, that's when an abuse comes in. And then gradually your body begins to tolerate it. And when I mean tolerance, you're no more responding to weigh the specific dose that is actually safe. Right. You're now needing more to get the same effect. From there, you're getting to dependence. And that's when you now begin to feel that I can't survive this COVID situation. I can't survive my situation without the use of this particular drug. Okay. And the gap between that and addiction is the problem. Right. So that's what we should be very careful about during this period.
Yeah, you were talking about the drug. So there's the drug that, affects your brain, you get high. Then there's the drug, like, since this COVID-19, I've been taking zinc and vitamin D and vitamin C. That can qualify as a drug, not to affect my brain, but, build your immune system. It's supposed to build my immune system, but it was not prescribed by a doctor or a pharmacist. Could that be taken as drug abuse? And when do you know that you are crossing the line?
Immune boosters will be more or less misused before you say abuse. Okay. Misused in the sense that you are now taking more than prescription, because there's actually a quantity where the amount you're supposed to take. Where it comes to abuse now is when it's beginning to hurt you, and there's really a thin slide between that. Now, when it comes to abuse, you start noticing changes in your behavior. Something that affects your CNS is an abuse.
Right.
A misuse is mostly physiological. So when something is happening to your organ, that's usually what happens with the abuse. That's the misuse of those drugs. Yes.
Right.
Something will start happening to your organs or something. But when something starts happening with the way you reason and you think, yes, you are gradually going to abuse.
Right.
Okay. So I wanted to ask, still within the vitamin C and zinc and all this family, is it possible to overdose on them? Because most of the time we're now doing 1,000 grams because we're trying to like shore up our system. Is that too much? And at what point are you overdoing it?
You know, vitamins are really very tiny micronutrients that were required in the system. Now, the abuse is really very, very low.
Okay.
With the vitamin C, once you take it 3 times a day, you're relatively free. But you see, the Nigerian mentality is they feel the more they take, the more they get out of the situation, which isn't. Just take that quantity and you are safe. Anything else, you are hurting your organs. So that's what I'll say. But no, you are relatively safe with vitamins because you can take that, you can go ahead and take your vitamin C, that's in the form of fruits. That's relatively still safe, you know. But I wouldn't encourage you going to say you want to take 6 or 10 of it in a day. Now that's getting a bit too much.
Right.
Even though it's
6 or 10 100 grams.
Sorry?
6 or 10 of 100 grams. Me, if I buy the 100-gram one, I can take 10. No?
Some people may just take about, from that 1,000, the quantity still pouring about, no. Relatively, just one of it at a meal is okay.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go to painkillers. Because, I mean, I know people, let me not put somebody close to me on the spot right here, but she's always has a bag, a medicine bag next to her. Pain every small thing. It's malaria. My body's hot. And they're constantly, every month, I know this person, she's over 70. Every month, she's on malaria drug. Is that normal?
No, every month is really too much. Yeah, you are trying to prevent, then why you're beginning now to misuse the drug? You're misusing it. Like I said, misuse is a big, eventually it starts taking effect on the organs, and you need to be very careful with that. So usually I would advise that if you're going to take anti-malaria with what is happening with this immunity and all that, maybe once in 3 months, it's okay, just to do a preventive thing. Right. Now, before you go into malaria and you're sure you have a malaria parasite in you, you must have gone to run some tests. And when that is proven that you do have malaria, then we probably boost whatever it is that you've been taking already or change it completely. Probably it's ineffective.
No, sorry,
but it's not.
I want you to address something because we are in Nigeria. Almost every family is taking malaria drugs because of one thing. We don't even go to the doctor to come and check if I have anything on my blood. Once I feel a bit of, I'm feverish, malaria alone share, will give you. So are you recommending that it's okay every 3 months to do that, even without going to see the doctor?
I think relatively it's safe to do that every 3 months. Just do a check for 3 months. And then also you look at your environment. If you're a place where there's a lot of mosquitoes, it's infested, yes, probably. Then for those who are already protecting themselves, sleeping under the nets, no, you don't need to go up to 3 months. You probably go up to 4 months before you do that. It's just a preventive.
Right,
yes.
Okay, so I wanted to ask concerning, we've been keeping it within the regular drugs that we take, and I'm happy that we're educating people about what's safe and what isn't. But there are drugs that are being abused, like proper drugs, drug abuse. And I'd like you to educate us all on the side effects of drug abuse long-term.
Like Benylin, codeine,
tramadol, those things. Then the mixtures that a lot of our young people, teenagers, are mixing different things together. What are the immediate effects on the body and long-term effects on the body?
And one more thing, a lot of people mix energy drinks and the codeine energy drinks and alcohol. So please, can you address these young people right now?
Even old people do that.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I should go back with the energy drinks. I need everyone to understand that energy drinks contain caffeine. Caffeine is a controlled substance. Caffeine is easily, you get addicted to caffeine very easily. And caffeine is a stimulant. It increases your brain activity. Something that should be, you are now overactive. That's hyperactive. That's the CNS effect. Now, with the prescription drugs, most of them are analgesics. Now, by the time you are taking a painkiller for a specific pain, after a certain time, if you keep abusing or using that drug when you don't have a pain, it's like somebody becoming, you're insensitive to pain anymore. You don't have the pain sensations anymore. Yeah. You're like numb. You don't feel anything. And that's why you see some people being able to do things that ordinarily human beings can't. You can see a young boy being able to carry 4 bags of rice and he's running. The pain has gone. But gradually what this does long term is the way you begin to reason, coordinate your brain activity just isn't normal anymore. And then you begin to become addicted. You are depressed, you don't feel what it is that is going on in your surrounding. You don't notice or see the person in front of you anymore. You are just, in fact, if I could say this, that's what you become. You are not conscious of what's happening, and then you react to things the way your brain sends the message to you. It may not be real. A driver can be, a bus driver, for instance, may be going on 3rd Mainline Bridge and suddenly veers off the road because he feels that suddenly the bridge looks like the ocean and the ocean looks like the road. Wow. So that's what happens. Your perception, the way you see things different. So sometimes when you see some very terrible accidents, you begin to wonder, how did this happen? Didn't they see this? No, they did not. Their perception of life and things and environment around them is now thwarted. They don't see things the way you see things. And then they begin to have problems. So that's the general.
Sorry, when you're talking about painkillers, you know, it's in the entertainment world, it's very painkillers. Like, well, Michael Jackson was supposedly on painkillers, you know. And I just want to tell you one experience that I had when I was still dancing. One of the dancers got she sprained her leg, or no, she got muscle pull or something. And the doctors, you know, these American doctors, they just came, injection, gave her painkiller. That day, the dance, she danced. So the other 2 of us were looking at her, see the power. Hey, so the next day we were asking, please, that painkiller that they gave her, can you give us? They said, no. You know, but that taught me that you can actually abuse a drug and live, you know, a false life, like you were saying, on painkillers.
Before we move on, madam, I'd like you to talk about sleeping pills. Because people are overdosing on sleeping pills, especially those that are having issues with insomnia, and they just feel like they cannot sleep without the sleeping pills. How can we control the use of sleeping pills?
You know, the only way we can control is if we do this following the prescriptions. Because when a doctor prescribes a sleeping pill to a patient, there's usually a number of days the patient is actually supposed to use these drugs. And after that, if there's an issue, he or she is meant to report back to the doctor, and then let's see, do an analysis, a check, and maybe improve or reduce what it is that we have. The problem is most Nigerians, when they get the effect they want more. So thereafter, you don't go back to your doctor, you go to a pharmacy and just probably show this prescription and get some more. Because mentally, you are beginning to feel that I cannot do this sleep without the drug. You don't even want to try.
You don't even want to try the normal way, like watch a boring movie, for instance. You know, have a boring talk with someone.
Can I ask,
yes, please.
how do you think that we can actually stop the pharmacists or the pharmacies from selling these controlled substances over the counter? Because sleeping pills, cough medicine, tramadol, people have access to these drugs. How do we stop these pharmacies from actually dispensing these drugs to these people? Because I know that if I go to the right chemist, I can go and get sleeping tablet if I want. It's because I don't want. But a lot of people have access to these drugs. So what do you think we can do?
Like you rightfully said, a pharmacist will not do that. You know, the problem we're having is people do not know the difference between a patent medicine store and a pharmacy. So if you go to a patent medicine store and you show your prescription or you ask for this, yes, most likely they'll give it to you. But a pharmacist would ask you why. Do you have a problem? Have you used this before? When was the last time you prescribed it? Then we look at the date, because you see, a prescription will give a date. I will know how long you were asked to take this drug. So after a certain time, a pharmacist would not dispense that drug unless you have gone to see a doctor. And if there's need, he or she may just give you something for the day, depending on the description of your problem. Because then we need to talk to you specially and know why you need it. And sometimes by the time we are having this discussion, we understand that you don't need it. You are just beginning to feel that you are dependent on it.
Okay,
so the important thing is for the pharmacist, for the people to understand, if you need to go to get your prescriptions or your drugs, go to a registered pharmacy that has the sign, that PX green thing. If you go to a pharmacy that doesn't do that and you're being handled by a patent, we are still working on that.
Right. Okay. All right.
So I wanted to ask this quick question concerning this aspirins. There's this powdered, I don't want to mention the brand, but there are powdered aspirins that they put into water and then you drink, or sachets that you put into your mouth, and that they feel this energy boost. Some people have said that it is poisonous and it has long-term side effects. Can you please break down what the side effects of those sachets of aspirins, powdered medicines that people ingest to get energized?
Like I said, you know, aspirins are like analgesics, yes, anti-inflammatory, some of them. Now, by the time you are taking aspirin, yes, there's this boost initially, because you are not feeling this. When you abuse, there's this euphoric feel, after which that numb feel comes, because what it does really is bringing temperature down, bringing down pain, inflammation. They play a role in that. So by the time someone is abusing such things, like I said, it's like you are not feeling nothing. You're just energized. You don't feel your environment. You don't even feel the immediate person beside you. So it's a dangerous thing, because the next thing is your organs. And
right.
Usually the organs that are affected the most with this is your kidney and then your liver.
Right. I'll come to you right here.
CNS effect, yes.
Let me ask concerning herbs, because some of us, a lot of our young men out there abuse this herb. We have these women carrying all these things around, and people say, oh, it is this, it is that, and obviously there are no proper measurements for these things they drink. Because people are listening to you today, and some of them are thinking that, listen, we can use it because we are all going local. We are saying, look within. Let's look Nigerian. Let's do what we have. Let's use our herbs. So people are now having that mix of, what do I do? How do I measure the herbs? How much of agbo is too much or too little to use in at this period? Could you help us address that, please?
Okay. When it comes to herbal, we are not disputing that some of these herbals has effect, but our problem has always been how to measure some of these things. And with the herbs, it's important. That's why the pharmacy comes in. We isolate that particular chemical that has an effect. Now, the other substances that come with it, that thing that they use to dilute, you and I don't know what the substance is. People respond to things differently. The way, if I take it, it may do, the medicinal part of the drug may work for me, but what of the substance that was used to dilute it? There's something called idiosyncrasy. The way I will react to it is very different. And then these herbs that we are talking about, after they make these preparations, sometimes they don't sell it all off. They probably keep it under their beds for another day. And the longer those things stay in whatever substance it is, it either becomes more potent or becomes a poison. And then when you take such things, then trouble starts coming up. And then unfortunately, the doctors have to start understanding what it is. You don't even know what particular bark it is. Some of these people were not trained. They were not properly trained. They just got this from their mom and then went on the road mixing these things up. There's no standard measurement. And that standard measurement is very key in whatever treatment it is.
Okay.
That
We have to wrap up. So
Is it possible to overdose on ginger?
Overdose on ginger?
On ginger.
Yes, so because ginger is a purgative. So by the time you do it, you're almost emptying all your bowels. Yes, it can be very, in everything, a drug you need to understand is a poison. And there's a dosage that is safe. Anything above or below is dangerous.
Unfortunately, I have to let you go. Right, one at a time. Thank you so much, madam, for joining us on the show this morning. We learned quite a bit from you. Thank you. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
You can watch Your View on TVC every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time on DSTV channel 418, GOTV channel 27 and channel 47, StarTimes channel 121 and channel 307, Play TV channel 801 and channel 190, UHF 49, Sky channel 515 for UK viewers. Watch live on Facebook at TVC Connect and on our website tvcentertainment.tv/livestream.